It is the intro. It might not have been the title. All right, roll it back. It is the intro. Mm-hmm. Did I pause the Christmas music?
Intro.
I did. Okay, wait, nope, that's the wrong one. New intro. All right. This is I think Andrew Wilson on Piers Morgan Uncensored with Harry Sisson, Warren Smith, and some other person I don't remember. I really haven't watched this.
Intro 2.0.
The new and improved intro, if you will. I don't really do intros very well, so I can give you a quick rundown of the context that I understand. Basically, this is the aftermath of Piers Morgan interviewing Nick Fuentes. He gets a panel thrown together.
Who is Harry Sisson?
I think he's someone who is like really, really, really arrogant, condescending, and TikTok famous, you know? Because your boy on TikTok needs support, apparently.
So a generic TikTok lefty?
Not a generic TikTok lefty. The generic TikTok lefty.
Wait, is lefty a slur?
No. What are we supposed to call people who are left-handed? No, it's more of a case of Harry Sisson is not known for his brilliant takes. He's also not known for being truthful. So whenever I watch clips with him, I assume either he's stupid or he's lying. And for the things that are so obviously common knowledge that he claims to be the opposite, he's lying. For the things that are kind of complicated that
so
you wouldn't understand.
Approaches things in bad faith.
More like in no faith. The dude has I don't think he could comprehend faith as a concept. Let's put it like that. He's a non-empiricist, but also just an idiot. I really don't like Harry Sisson. Him, Dean Withers, Parker, all three of those guys, they are just the worst. The worst sources of info, the worst takes available. They
such silly little boys.
I don't even know if silly is the right word. More like I'll wait to say that a bit later. But point is, yeah.
Anyway, let's watch Andrew destroy I'm.
Yep. So this is Andrew Wilson destroying one of Jubilee's favorite little poster boys. Let's watch Andrew Wilson tear the soybean out of this man.
Well, I was just watching your previous segment, and I thought that the framing there was a little off. So I've always appreciated coming on the show and you letting me get my viewpoints out. But I do take some issue with your framing. You did bring up the guy's dad, and you said his name.
Yeah.
And when
what, Harry? What are you doing, dude? What is this? Man does not like that theater.
He's a theater kid.
Yeah, well, so I think Crowder, I've seen Crowder talk to Pierce on this. Crowder went after the same angle, and I think they're right to go after this because bringing up Nick Fuentes' dad for no real reason other than to...
John Doyle's theater kid theory on full force right here, lol.
Yeah, but so that he brought up Nick Fuentes' dad, try to besmirch him as a racist as well. Nick Fuentes said, "Hey, leave my dad out of this," and he continued to harp on his dad. Like, it was bad taste at least, but it also didn't move the conversation at all. Just kind of a gotcha scolding sort of situation. Besides, Pierce is so thick-skulled that he thinks he did nothing wrong.
you said it on the air that way, this is a person who has had people attempt to assassinate him. They have come to his house, shown up at his door, and tried to kill him. And that's on video happening. And so when you said the guy's name and then try to tie it into racism, I know that you know this, Piers, but the left broadly will do these harassment campaigns. These harassment campaigns are designed specifically to incite the violence of many of their mentally ill followers.
Andrew, let me just say,
yeah, the stochastic terrorism angle. They the left are masters at this. Please, won't somebody rid me of this priest? You know, we reject violence except against racism.
Plausible
oh, look,
deniability.
that person is a racist. Yeah, it's super annoying, and they need to get called out on it every time it happens. It's not even plausible deniability at this point. It's like splitting your brain in half and then using the implications to call for something else. Hassan does this all the time. Harry is also really bad about that. Yeah, so definitely the not so subtle calls to
It's
violence.
the "I'm not touching you" technique.
It is. It is. I think Tim calls it Tim Pool calls it the Tweedledee Tweedledum approach. But I agree with Tim on that.
What they do.
Yeah, let me just say, if I had my time again, I wouldn't have said his father's name, but I would have still told the anecdote because I thought it was really important to Nick Fuentes.
The anecdote's not the relevant part.
Well, the anecdote is relevant.
Yeah.
The anecdote is relevant when he immediately tried to attack me for ambushing him with a story that he told himself on his show. I mean, look.
Well, the ambush was bringing up his dad by name. Like that was not helpful at all, Pierce. Like seriously, I really don't know what else to say to that because his point's pretty cut and dry. A dude asked you not to bring up his dad. You did anyway. Dick move.
If I told a story
But
like that,
that's not what people are upset about.
No, I understand. Listen,
they weren't upset.
It was also just straight up calling him a racist and trying to tie his family in.
Yeah, and it doesn't really prove anything. It just kind of it's just a smear, like ad hominem. It doesn't move the conversation forward. It doesn't address any of his points. Kept floating in that layer. He didn't even like engage the arguments. So yeah.
Upset about the anecdote. They were upset that you specifically said the guy's name after Fuentes has had these assassination attempts on him.
To be clear, if I had my time again, wouldn't have said his father's name, notwithstanding the fact you can find it in 2 seconds on the internet. Right? So it's not like it's not difficult to find. But
what was it? I can't stand him. I genuinely can't stand him. Like there are so many people with a face that I just want to see it contort into that kind of.
Notwithstanding
the fact that you can find it in 2 seconds, what he says, because apparently Nick Fuentes said it once in a clip, and you can find it in that clip. But still, broadcasting it to your platform is still not a good idea. I mean, realistically, Nick Fuentes should go in and just redact his father's name from the video. But cool, man. Harry Sisson,
Sorry, that's just straight up a diversion.
Yeah, it is. But now Harry Sisson's face is one of those faces that I want to see him crash out every 2 seconds if I can.
It's not my fault. You can look it up yourself. Kind of argument.
Yeah, it's not a very good argument. No, Harry Sisson has the face of someone who he invokes anger in me. He's someone that I want to see shrink back like a dog that got scolded. You know what I mean? Like, no, bad. Sit down.
It's a way to dilute the blame for the messed up thing he did.
Yeah. You're really fixated on that one point, huh? Sorry.
Also, I think Harry Sisson has the tism.
Probably. Anyways, he's not a very good debater. Very, very, very dishonest. Like you're going to see Andrew just catch him in a straight up lie, and I want to see how he tries to wiggle out of it because he always does. He never admits that he lies because why would a liar do that? Lying has worked for him so much in the past, and this is probably one of the few times it doesn't because someone calls him on it as they should, and he can't mute Andrew Wilson here, so it's going to be really important.
I do think it's important that
snake-like behavior.
Yeah.
That anecdote to me was potentially very relevant to why Nick Fuentes is the way he is about racism, for example, because he was telling a story that cannot be construed, Andrew, any other way than his father was directing them away from restaurants because of his racist views about the people that go in them or run them. And it couldn't be seen any other way.
I get that. I get the point of bringing the anecdote up, but that wasn't what looked to me like what was making these guys so angry. Was not the anecdote itself, but the fact that you said the guy's name, referenced it as his dad, and then this guy's had assassination attempts.
Yeah, but the story was him telling the story.
By the way, hang on. And a lot of the first assassination attempt happened because of the your body.
All right, I'm still watching Harry's thing right there. He's making me mad. Like, oh, I got all this expression stuff, so that way I could preempt my argument and prepare the emotions of everyone else. Yeah,
reactions are cringe. Love.
Yeah, no, he really is so cringe. Like, yas, queen, slay. This guy right here, he's doing a good job keeping straight face. This guy seems distracted. That's okay.
I bet
Warren's-
he cries into his boyfriend's arms.
I think he might be one of the rare gay cells. Anyway, Warren is just Warren. He's doing Warren things. I haven't really seen him move very much. He's just kind of listening. Andrew's doing a good job. So
Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
no.
it's Warren.
yeah, leftists beware. You've got logic up here. I don't know who this is, and I don't know who this is. I do not like this guy. I guess that's gonna let everyone know where I stand. Like strong like, normal like, strong dislike, normal dislike.
I also don't like Pierce so much.
Don't know, so neutral and neutral. Yeah, I just don't know who these guys are. There's a reason I don't watch Piers Morgan Uncensored. He's a tabloid journalist. No, he's not really a serious guy. And his interviewing style is trash. He's just a rage meter. Anyway, I know this is the pot calling the kettle black here, but yeah, I have fun with it.
My choice thing that he put.
He's a clip farmer.
Yeah, Farmer Morgan.
Farmer Morgan.
Farmer Morgan. Hi, howdy, y'all. I'm Farmer Morgan from the great state of Great Britain. I'll be farming your clips today. Yep.
That tweet out, and people began doxing his address
Right.
and his family's name, and that's why they showed up to kill him. So the
Right.
guy's grievance there, I think, is legitimate.
Yeah, but I think it's important that his grievance wasn't just that I named his father, which again is a matter of public record. You can find it anywhere. Although I wouldn't have said.
Stop doing that, Pierce. Please stop.
Devotion.
It's a matter of public record. Not the point, dude.
Deflection.
Yeah. Not the point, dude. It's like, well, it's in the public record. And it's like, yeah, so's everyone's names. So what are you doing, dude? Come on.
It if I had my time again, because I don't want to attack his family for the sake of attacking his family. It was when he tried to frame it as an unfair attack on his family, when I think actually the story that he himself put in the public domain was potentially very relevant to why he is the way he is. I as a journalist,
Well, how he was framing it was you're bringing this up and name doxing specifically so that you can rally people into a harassment campaign. That's how he saw it.
no, but
when
that
he
wasn't. Yeah, okay, but just to be clear again, that was not my intention.
Can I ask you a
Alongside-
question, Pierce?
Yes, yeah, sure.
Okay, so I don't know who edited this. It might have been Andrew or one of his moderators. That whole segment was really just to kind of show how
Andrew has the patience of a saint.
he does.
Oh,
I would
wow.
have started yelling at him like Jack Posobiec did at Destiny. Oh man. Yeah, so here's the thing. It just kind of showed how little Pierce cares for feedback and how he doesn't see what he did as wrong or inappropriate. It's less about the fact that their names are public record and more about the fact that you signal boosted it to how many million people who watch that. Yeah, no, it's like you're putting his family in real danger. So at that point, what reason does he have to engage with you seriously either? Because clearly you weren't going to take his request. It was actually a pretty reasonable request. Hey, don't bring my family into this. But Pierce did anyway. You know, that's a power play kind of thing, not an interview thing. It wasn't even relevant.
Don't dox me.
More like, don't dox my family. I see that as just a reasonable request from, Nick Fuentes. Again, I this whole situation, what I don't like the most is that I'm having to defend Nick Fuentes. I'm someone who probably strongly disagrees with him on maybe 20 to 30% of what he says. Mostly the race essentialism stuff. Everything else I can kind of understand. But that race essentialism stuff is big stuff that I don't like. So that's why I don't run around in his circle. At the same time, restricting immigration, stuff like that, those are things that I actually do support. So there is overlap. I'm not going to deny that. But I mean, come on. Don't make me defend Nick Fuentes, please.
I would like to
But again,
dive
I didn't generalize.
Well, hang on, let
My
Andrew come in.
hypothetical
Let Andrew come
We're
in.
missing some context there.
There was a part of the interview where you were very combative and you said you haven't even been laid and you're a virgin.
This was such a. I don't even know if I covered that part, but what?
I'm a virgin.
Yeah, but it's like, what does being celibate have to do with anything?
Good on him.
He was like, oh, well, you're making incel talking points. It's like, is he? He's saying women are annoying. That's not what incels say. Incels hate women a lot more than that.
I stand with his virginity.
Yeah, but it's also like, well, if you got laid, you wouldn't be an incel anymore. It's like, no. It is. What do you think? Having sex is going to change your mind on everything? Because that's just not accurate. It wouldn't change your mind on a lot of things. For example, if you just can't stand women.
I don't want to get laid.
Yeah, if you can't stand women before, I mean.
My body is a temple of the Lord.
Yep. But what difference does that make? Realistically, it doesn't change your perspective. And it's overhyped.
I would rather get married and become one flesh.
Yes, good for you. I have received your signal. You are virtuous. Proceed. Signal received. Virtue acknowledged. Can we move on? But it's one of those things whenever you tell a devout Catholic how their faith is causing them to hate women or whatever. It's like, no. I don't even think Nick Fuentes hates women. I genuinely don't. I think he makes a lot of edgy jokes, but I don't think he hates women. So, yeah, that was just a stupid point to bring up, and it doesn't change anything. My goodness.
This guy's a Roman Catholic.
Right.
Isn't he supposed to be a virgin until he's married? Isn't that part of your guys'
yes,
faith?
To be fair to him, that is. I was brought up a Catholic. I'm not a particularly devout Catholic.
Then you're not really a Catholic, dude. You claim to be one when it's convenient, and then say, "Well, I'm not a practicing Catholic," so you're not a Catholic. That's what I'm hearing. My word. But you think?
I think it's funny because, like he likes some of what God says.
Yeah. Is that it? Is that all? All you got? AI Trump?
But he knows better than the anti-gay stuff God said.
Ah, there it is. That's what he doesn't like. He doesn't like that gay sex is gross. Yeah. I don't like gay sex either. Yes. You know better than God because you're more progressive, obviously.
I mean,
it's where the poop comes out. And I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, I am with God on that one.
It's not sanitary. Yeah. But this whole like I'm not a practicing Catholic. That you're just not Catholic, dude. Just say you're an atheist. Like, well, no, I believe in God. No, you don't. Ugh. I mean, you can believe a God exists, I guess, but then you don't believe any of his words. So then there's functionally no different than just being an atheist. So stop pretending to be a Catholic to score points with the Catholics. Ah, man. My goodness. Culturally.
He's a cultural atheist. Lol.
Cultural atheist. Yeah. It's so dumb. I can't stand it when people do that. Kind of like when atheists bring up anything from the Bible. I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't mean anything to you. So why are you bringing this up? Well, it's like, because it means something to you. Then that's just a rhetorical attack against me. I don't have to respond.
Disagree with a lot of the church's
But you
teachings.
do agree that Catholics are supposed to remain chaste until marriage,
yeah,
right?
The strict interpretation from the Catholic Church about that is you should be...
So how come he did?
The strict interpretation, the strict in quotes there, yeah. It's just laid out there. The only.
The strict, you mean the only?
Yeah, the only.
That's just Catholic doctrine.
Yeah, no. Progressive values and the Catholic Church do not mesh. The absolute gall of this man to suggest otherwise is that's got to be heresy, right? Yeah, Nicene Creed at least.
Shouldn't he get credit for that?
Well, the
idea that he's kind of staying within the confines of his religious beliefs.
I have no problem, but he also
or he can't get any action.
But he also
can't get any action. Okay, but what if he's not trying? Neither here nor there, man.
Identifies as an incel, which is more problematic.
Here's what Mark just said. What I mean?
Okay, so here's what I want to do. Harry Sisson, if I ever get to him like in an in-person interview,
If it's poopy butthole action.
Stop. Just stop. Now, what I want to do with Harry Sisson, if I ever get him in
Him with God.
what I want to do with Harry Sisson, if I ever get to like debate him in person, I am going to bring the stinkiest tuna I can and just sit down and open it and push it up like near him. Just or make that sardines and boiled eggs.
Slap him with it.
Oh no! I just want him to smell sardines and boiled eggs. That would be funny. Hot boiled eggs.
Anytime I think of fish, I just think of the Jonah movie.
The VeggieTales one? Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
where they slap each other with fishes.
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, haha.
Yeah, but this dude, he can't stand his expressions. Like, my goodness.
Like, he can't get any action. The guy is rich as and he's a good-looking guy. He could get action if he wanted it, Mark.
Teasing.
And by the way, hang on,
Andrew.
Hang on, Mark.
I agree with you, Andrew. I'm just teasing.
Just let me finish the point. Let me
I
finish the
agree with
point.
you. I'm just teasing.
What I'm saying to you, though, is this: is that yeah, of course he could. The thing is, though, is that if you guys are saying like he's a huckster, he's a fraud, isn't he in fact following rigorously his faith by doing that?
Well, so my response to that, I think it's a really.
What he said.
Hang on, Harry.
What?
I think it's
Yes,
a really.
it is what he
hang
said
on,
in the
hang on.
interview.
I want to respond to Andrew.
No, it's
not.
not.
I think it's a perfectly valid question, particularly as I have always said I'm a Catholic. I was raised a Catholic. I had spiritual guidance from Catholic nuns when I was 12 years old. You know, I go to church occasionally. I'm not devout. I'm not there all the time. I don't agree
You're not really a Catholic, Pierce. Stop.
with some of the Catholic churches.
Yeah, his eyes are just too far apart. It makes him, gives him sort of the Ed from Ed, Edd and Eddy vibes.
Those nuns were celibate too, you know.
Yep, they took a vow of celibacy.
Views and policies, and I wish they would evolve faster. However, you know, as speaking Catholic to Catholic with him, yes, it's a perfectly valid thing that he could say, I am saving myself for marriage. But if that's all he said, fine. But I would argue
if
that,
all
you know,
that
if you
all
look
was
at him
the
as a
problem.
Christian, for example, how many of his other views are compatible with being a Christian? Right? You
Well,
know,
his view on the priesthood,
his overt
for instance,
racism
was correct.
His Jew baiting, his overt racism, the despicable way he talks about women generally, and
Where in the Bible does it say be nice? It says be kind one to another. It doesn't say anything about being nice. Nice is performative. Kindness is real. Sometimes kindness requires you to be a little blunt.
That says one to another too. Speaking to Christian.
Yeah. It doesn't say anything about me having to emotionally invest in every stranger I meet. It's also that
It says to love your enemies.
yeah, true, but that doesn't mean you have to like constantly be around them. Sometimes loving your enemies is to distance yourself from them so
But
you
that
don't
doesn't
cause them
mean to
harm.
have suicidal empathy.
Empathy is not a Christian value. Sympathy, yes. Empathy, no. I'm with Charlie Kirk on that one. He's not real.
Empathy is made up.
Yeah, it's this idea that you can feel the pain of someone else. You can't. You legitimately can't. There will always be that barrier between them. You can see the pain, but you can't feel the pain.
Unless you're literally them, you can't.
Right. So empathy, just conceptually, is bad. It's a new agey nonsense term that really shouldn't exist. And anyone that believes in empathy, will just go away. I don't want to deal with you. You don't believe in anything real. You use emotions to guide everything. There is no logic that you could possibly have. If you use sympathy, that means you understand that you are you, they are them. You can see their pain. You can feel bad for their pain, but their pain is not yours. It's actually really, really selfish to think you can take on someone else's pain.
I think empathy came from that dumb acting method.
Method acting? Is that what you're referring to? Yeah, I don't know. I've never liked empathy as a term. I prefer sympathy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Jared
dumb.
Leto.
Just act. Don't be.
Yeah. It doesn't make you any better or worse.
Because you can be.
Yep. You can't be. You can pretend. Oh well. Anyway, Harry Sisson's about to probably make me actually tilt and crash out. So if you're here for that, let's have some fun. I guess you get to see me crash out for a change instead of me making fun of Hassan crashing out.
so on. None of those things are what you would categorize as being a good Christian. So
I think you can have dogmatic distinctions with him, and that's fine within the confines of the faith. But with the points he brought up when he said women aren't allowed to be clergy, that's true. They're not allowed
that
to
is
be
true.
clergy.
Yeah.
Theater kid theory is real. Yeah, feels like it.
Yes.
By the Catholic faith. And when he said he's saving himself for marriage,
But he also said he
he's
couldn't.
supposed
But when
to
he
do
said
that.
women,
He's supposed to do
Andrew,
that.
but hang on, Andrew, when he said that women shouldn't be allowed to vote and should stay at home,
Where in the Bible does it say that the women should be allowed to hold power? I think it's like specifically over children is directly referenced, and maybe over younger women. I can't think of another place.
Most people shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Yeah, most people shouldn't. Honestly, I don't think anyone should vote. But like, if we're going to have voting, we need to have qualified suffrage. Like, my ideal voting system would be, I don't want theocracy. No,
Theocracy, Deus Vult.
theocracy is very dependent on the religion in charge. I could live in Christian theocracy. I could not in like Islamic theocracy, as an example. Too much taxes.
Christian theocracy.
Yeah, so I guess my ideal voting system would be you have a man and a woman, they're married, and they have 2 kids. Now that household gets 1 vote that could be cast by the man. I think that should be the voting system. You get divorced, you give up voting. Divorce is an indulgence 99% of the time. If you get remarried, like say you were divorced for like abuse or something, that's actually a reasonable cause. And you get remarried and have full custody of the kids.
And only up to 50,000 people in one society.
I'm not even there yet. Like, this is what I think we could change tomorrow and fix a lot. So each household only gets 1 vote. The requirements are you have to be married and have 2 kids minimum. You can have more than 2, but 2 kids minimum. If you don't have at least 2 kids, you can't vote. You have to be married because childlessness is an indulgence. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, I don't, I didn't choose to be childless or whatever. It's like just the economic circumstances of the time. You can make it work. You're letting perfect be the enemy of good. I want to have my career. Well, that's an indulgence. You can sacrifice power for your career. Yeah.
And if you are biologically unable to adopt.
Yep. If you're a married couple and you adopt 2 children, that still counts to me. Point is, 1 vote per household, 2 kids being raised minimum. No one else gets to vote. That's where I am. Like, that's the one fix I think that would work tomorrow. If we did that, everything would drastically improve. We don't even have to change anything else, just the voting system. Anyway, that's my sidebar done. I forgot what we were talking about here. Harry Sisson's starting to make me mad just by his expression.
That is a big ass, though. TBH.
I mean, is that easier, or is splitting up the United States into like however many 50,000 people societies?
Oh yeah, we called him Fish Face.
Fish Face, Harry Fish Face. Anyway, I don't know what it is, but Warren just looks like he's thinking. Those gears are turning. Okay, he's trying to reconcile something in his head, and it's not meshing the way he wants it to.
There. Hi, Warren.
He's been so quiet. But yeah. My goodness. Anyway.
I should also have jobs. Would you agree with that?
The Catholic Church does not have dogmatic teaching on democracy. They're not like, oh, democracy is the standard.
No, I'm
for
asking
the world,
you. I'm asking you.
universal suffrage.
I'm asking you whether you think when he says women shouldn't be allowed to vote and should stay at home and not work.
Well,
and
I
not
think
have a
most
job.
people shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Based Andrew. Yeah. Yep. Based Andrew. Most people shouldn't be allowed to vote. I don't think anyone should be allowed to vote. Not most people. No one. Voting is cringe. You should never have to worry about politics. The vote should be the trust you have in your leader to keep you safe. But then people call me an anarcho-monarchist. And I'm just like, well, Hop was right. So ha. Anyway.
I would limit suffrage for most people, like our founders did. I think
But
it's a terrible idea to have universal suffrage.
Would you make
Theocracy.
Yeah, I don't know about theocracy. I think it tries to scale too much. That's my issue with it. It tries to get too big.
Christian theocracy.
It tries to get too big. I want tiny societies, not big. Don't need the faceless bureaucracy taking over everything. Bureaucrats are like black mold. They destroy everything they touch.
A bunch of Christian theocracy.
A bunch of really tiny ones. Just be the parish model. Every parish is independent. That could work. But I would say, like, let people kind of choose their own system within
That's
their...
a fair compromise.
Yeah. I'd say let people choose what systems they want to try within their 50,000 person society. The ones that are good will make it through. The ones that aren't will collapse, and the cycle continues. It's better that a small society collapse than a large one. My goodness. This more localized suffering rather than let me just be dragged down by the one drowning population in this one area because they couldn't settle on the fact.
How do you start a new society? Split a 50,000 one in half?
Yeah. We call it societal mitosis. Basically, once you start approaching that 50,000 point, you have a sundering ritual, or the rites of sundering. And then you split up that society in half. Half the people have to volunteer to leave. If they don't, then that's when you get the sticks. And then you use the sticks to bat at each other until someone wants to leave. It needs to be a celebration. The splintering needs to be a celebration.
Also implement hexagons somewhere in this plan.
You just want to play Civ. You just want to play Civilization.
Like for roads and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make it a Catan the world map, I guess. I don't know. You got me way off track. What were we talking about?
They mathematically only make three-way roads.
You mean three-way intersections? This is getting way off track. All right.
Not
Specific
based
to
on their
women.
gender,
Not
Andrew.
specific.
You
Not
wouldn't base it on their
specific.
Hang on,
gender.
yeah.
let me
But why
finish.
People voting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so less crashes.
At that point, we might as well just get rid of cars. Like, my goodness. Anyway.
that
Issues with
matter? Why would that matter?
Well, because I do think if you say
limit voting, yes.
I do think after they've waged a 100-year war, women for women's equal rights, to then remove one of the wrenching
Voting should never have been a right.
building blocks of that, which is what the suffragettes fought for, the right to vote. I think if you remove that,
Oh, come on. That whole movement was totally astroturf. That's one. And
well, it
two,
won them the right
let's
to
just point
vote.
this out. There's a good
There wasn't a
argument from
war.
a
What
Christian
is he
perspective
talking
to
It was like a social justice push or whatever. I hate that term, social justice. It doesn't make sense. Why would you need a qualifier before the word justice? There's just justice.
They asked their husband, and they said, sure. That was it, lol.
And sometimes the husband said sure and voted for the other person anyway. But no, like, why? There was never a phase of feminism that was good. Not a single one. I think,
Husband.
yeah. But I genuinely think there was never a good moment for feminism at all. People will point to like different things, and no. First off, those issues that they claim that feminism solved, they were such a small number that they were a non-issue. Firstly. Secondly, the main issue there was lack of social stigma against people who did that. It's not like everyone was doing it. It was more like people wanted to mind their own business. Why? Because society began to get alienated. Why did society begin to get alienated?
I actually saw Rachel Wilson debating a feminist lately.
Yeah, we can get into that later. But when people get alienated, bureaucracy creeps in. When bureaucracy creeps in, personalization breaks down, bureaucracy expands, alienation increases, and we need more bureaucracy. And then we get to the point where no one really knows each other, and therefore we don't know that John's beating his wife because we didn't look into it. But at a smaller scale, everyone knows each other.
You, necrocracy.
That's what it feels like. But when everyone knows when everyone knows each other, you can identify these issues and let social pressure kick in. It's shameful to beat your wife. It should be. You don't need laws to tell you that. You never did. Not until society got too big. 50,000 needs to be that upper limit. Look up Dunbar's number. Anyway.
make that the husband, the head of the household, should be the one voting within his dogma. That would make sense. So there is a Christian case that you could make for that the head of household, the wife. Right now, what goes on in Christian households is that the wife,
his pupils are like, oh, they're drifting. What a face. My goodness.
is just doubling the vote of the man, right? So this is not against the purview of Fuentes, and it doesn't even sound particularly misogynistic to me.
Okay,
the 19th Amendment.
Harry, what's your response to that? Just for the record, by the way, Andrew, we've just been through the whole transcript, and he never uses the excuse that you may have heard him do it elsewhere. He talked about clergy, whether women should be allowed to be clergywomen and so on. And obviously they can't under the Catholic Church.
Does he have like allergies or something? He does bring it up in the original interview at 1 hour 23:10. For POS reasons, we cannot play the clip on the video. Fair enough. Fair enough. So they lied. My goodness. Okay, so but even if he didn't, that doesn't really change the argument, does it?
Doctrine, but he never uses it. He never says celibacy.
His eyelids won't stop dancing.
They dancing. I don't know. I've got like bad allergies right now, so if I blink a lot, that's why my eyes are on fire. They're boring, but otherwise, it's pretty fine. But yeah, no. I also don't like to blink as much with this model because watch what happens. My head moves. My whole head moves. It's like it squishes me. I don't know why.
It's like an abnormal amount of blinkage.
Maybe he's driving and turning. You know, he really needs to signal. Maybe he needs help. Is he blinking twice a lot? Does the bull have your girlfriend in the other room and you're blinking for help?
Oh, that's a good catch. I think they did that in World War II.
They would like tap SOS in Morse code, yeah. Or they'd blink SOS. Anyway.
It's for religious
That's his
reasons.
Primary view. His primary view is he's
take the
supposed to wait
apology
until
for lying
marriage.
anytime
Yeah, no,
soon, Andrew.
that may
I'll take
be
the
his
apology
view, but
for
he
lying.
didn't.
It's not what he said in the
He didn't
interview.
express
The point
that
was
view
he said
in
it
my
in the
interview. Is the
interview.
point? We've just checked the transcript.
And Andrew was just saying, "Oh, I have the quote, and there's no quote."
Well, look, it may. Look, I'm not. I can't rule out. I can't rule out. He hasn't said it elsewhere, and it may be Andrew's heard him say that before. I'm just saying, in my interview, he doesn't
sometimes
put.
on TV, we can just say, you know what, I made a mistake.
He
There was a
didn't.
dude who blinked his location in Morse code while saying out loud that he was doing great and being treated well.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that one. Yeah. Okay, so we got to go to 1:23:10 in the original interview, but I don't want to play it because you have to get permission from Pierce and his network.
Though I don't think Sisson is smart enough for that.
I don't think he's smart enough for a lot of things, but he is a liar. Yeah, I'm more inclined to take Andrew's word for it than I am to take Harry's because historically Andrew has not lied nearly as often as Harry has. Same for Dean, same for Parker. So, you know, it's really annoying. Anyway, yeah, all that did was make me mad. I really don't. I have nothing else to add. Pierce deflecting responsibility, Harry Sisson having a face that only a mother can put up for adoption, and a lazy eye. My goodness, that thing was wandering that whole time. Yeah, if anyone gets on to me for making fun of Harry Sisson's appearance, I don't care.
A bunch of Christian
You broke TTS. You broke TTS. Why would you do that? My goodness, that was. I felt like I was getting communicated to there. But yeah, no. So if anyone gets on to me for,
oh no.
Yeah, if anyone gets on to me for making fun of Harry Sisson's appearance, well, he's just a bad faith guy, so I don't have to take him seriously. I can go after whatever I want. He's also punching up. He has a way bigger audience than I do. If he has issues with it, he can come at me later, but he never will. I'm a VTuber. I am not a serious person. I'll admit. I like to have fun. Making fun of Harry Sisson's.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
You heard AI Trump. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you defend Harry Sisson, I will delete your comments. Challenge me if you dare. If you got this far. All right. If you like what I did here, though.
Especially if you like hexagons.
Yeah, if you like hexagons, let us know. And I don't know, if you agree with Andrew, you're welcome here. If you agree with Harry, go back to TikTok. I don't want you here. And yeah, that's all I got. Bye-bye.